So, welcome back to the next lecture, that is lecture number 38, and in this lecture we are going to talk about the role of technology in performance management system. So, how technology has influenced performance management system? Now, you see that technology has influenced the organization in a big way. People are talking about information technology, people are talking about technology that is used in organization in different ways, right, starting with the production to sales to marketing, right. And today we are also talking about big data analytics and these kind of things. So, we have to see that how technology can be associated with performance management system and how technology has influenced the way performance management system is being implemented in the organization. Now, you remember that in many organizations this performance management system is being automated. They are using tools and softwares for managing the performance of the employees, starting with data collection related to the performance, starting with monitoring of the performance, looking into the review and feedback. Everywhere you are using technology. So, now basically we are moving from a manual system to a technology enabled performance management system, right. At different stages you will find that performance management system, in performance management system we are using or making use of technology. So, when we are saying that how technology is going to influence performance management system, you will find that yes, technology is definitely is being used in performance management system, because there are a lot of tools and softwares and lot of automation is happening so far as performance management system. Not only performance management system, if you look at most of the HRM systems today, they are being automated, whether it is recruitment, whether it is compensation management, or whether it is performance management. Now, you will find that a lot of tools and techniques are available in terms of softwares and technologies which allow you to automate the performance management system. For example, we will discuss about how electronic performance management system has been used, right. What is the role of telecommuting in performance management system, because you know that today we have IT enabled systems which is going to measure your performance whether you are working in the organization or whether you are working in the virtual system, right. So, when we are going to discuss the role of technology in performance management system, to start with, first of all we will discuss that look at the performance management process, starting with planning to evaluation, and at each of these stages how technology has helped performance management system to be more accurate and transparent and error free, right. So, what we are going to discuss now is that how technology has been used at different stages of performance management system, right. So, starting with the prerequisites, this is the first stage. When you go for executing and implementing or having a performance management system in the organization, what are the prerequisites that you look at, right. So, you look at the business strategy, you see that how this business strategy is aligned with the goals and objectives of the organization, right. So, nowadays there are a lot of mapping tools which can help you to see that how business units have aligned their activities or their strategy with the goals and objectives of the organizations. Even the job analysis can be done through this process, right. And not only job analysis, but you can even also identify what are the critical activities and what are the knowledge and skill and attitude that is required. So, the mapping of job description and job specification is also possible with the use of technology, right. Collecting data, whether it is related to quantitative dimensions or qualitative dimensions related to the performance, right, and the kind of format that is to be used for evaluating performance before you are going to implement a performance management system, that can also be enabled with the help of the technology. It means technology can assist you to collect data. Technology can also identify that what kind of rating formats you are going to use for your performance management systems, right. You can also identify what kind of standards you need to have and how you are going to adopt this process, or suppose you want to go for revision, then that is also useful. So, you will find that even when you are going for business alignments, you are looking into matching of the job with the function, right, or whether you are going to measure performance qualitatively and quantitatively using performance ratings, right, because these are the prerequisites before you go for developing and implementing a performance management system. So, all this information can be mapped using software tools that is available in the field of what you call human resource information system. So, from there you get lot of information that could be used and for further use for especially for performance planning and then other stages, right. So, we are moving from this to performance planning stage. How at the performance planning, when you are going to plan the performance of the individual groups and the organizations, in what way technology is going to be useful, right. You can use share electronic workspace, okay, to create a performance plan, right. You can go for incorporating automated messages to alert all the stakeholders, individuals, groups and others when you are going to make any changes in the performance plan, right. And when you want to link this performance plan and the competencies and want to create an online database for training and development, right. That is where you can also make use of what you call technology, right. So, technology can help you in all these activities, okay, especially if you are using communication information and communication technology. So, ICT has a big role to play even at the planning stage. Now, moving from planning stage, when you talk about the execution stage, right. So, even at execution stage, when you are really implement performance management system, so you are going to use EPM, that is electronic performance monitoring, to see that what is the current performance status, whether there is a change in the status of the performance or not, okay. And on the basis of that you can also take decisions for coaching, that is improving performance and also feedback, okay, that okay, these are the feedback related to performance and that is and what else need to be done, that could be communicated to the employees. So, if you have a good electronic performance management which is going to monitor electronic performance monitor, sorry, then it is going to help you to track of your performance status, changes in the system, identifying your coaching requirements and also giving you feedback, right. And you can also track achievement of the goals and objectives, and if you think that it is not possible for you to achieve, then you may even revise it, okay. So, revising priorities of the goals and objectives can also be taken care. You can submit electronic requests for performance feedback, right, from your supervisors once the project is complete. So, he will give you feedback. The only problem is that in this kind of execution you do not meet face to face, but everything happens with the help of technology, that is you are using information and communication technology. So, your system is ICT enabled and that is how it is communicated, right. And you can also store data related to performance, okay, having a good networking structure, so that you can later on retrieve that data whenever it is required by you, right. So, moving away from performance execution, then ultimately assessment, when you are going to evaluation. So, you have already have data related to performance standards at different levels, right, and you have collected subjective data using technology, right. Then you are going to see that what are the ratings. So, allow computers to rate, have softwares and programs which is going to rate individuals depending upon what they have done, right, and that is where you have less human interference, right. You can also create a dashboard to show the performance data to the employees, right. So, they know what is the performance of the employees, and you also use analytics to find out the trend, how in what way in what direction the performance is moving, right. So, all this could be done with the help of ICT technology, and that is where in this stage when you are going to evaluate the performance, you can compare it, right. You can see that whether the ratings are accurate or not. When you can use dashboard to provide data and related information to the employees, and you can also identify the trend that is happening. It could be on a day to day basis or a quarterly basis. You can see whether in what way the performance of the employees are moving, right. So, you can identify the trend using certain analytical techniques. Then coming to the feedback and review, okay. At this stage also you can use data, because you have already a performance integrated portal for performance, okay. and then you when you call people for review, can you what you need to do is that you communicate the information to the employees related to his performance in the electronic way, right. And then when you are going to review, then you see that what are the opportunities that is available related to feedback, related to training, right. So, you can make use of technology to conduct the review, right. In many cases, that managers are not sitting, subordinates are not with you, they might be working at geographically dispersed places. So, even virtually you can connect them and give your ratings or review to relate to the performance, right, and that is how technology has helped in review and feedback process. Then renewal and recontracting, this is the last stage. Once I look at the performance review, the reports and see, and then when you want to develop certain performance plan, what you need to do, you update information to the goals and objectives, see it is aligned well, okay. What are the new initiatives that is to be taken, how it is going to be aligned with the new goals and strategies of the organizations, and that is how you once you have aggregate data related to the performance of the employees, you see that how it is moving, okay. So, these are the different stages, and we have seen that how technology can be used at different stages of performance management system. Then finally, at the career planning and succession planning also. Since you have data of performance management, you can identify who are the high potential employees, right. You can also create a networking portal to boost their personal profile, professional profiles, and identify what are the opportunities that is available for employees related to development and mentoring, right. And you can use certain assessment techniques which are available online, especially related to development and promotion of the employees, and you can also identify the strengths and weaknesses, and accordingly you can decide what needs to be done with the employees, right. Now, you will have tracking tools for employees to see that what could be their career paths. So, you can even develop anticipated career paths with the help of the technology to see that how they have been performing and in what way they could grow in the organization, right. So, it can also help you to decide the career path of the employees, right. Okay. So, now we have been talking about that how technology has been helping employees at different stages of the performance management system. Now, what we are going to discuss is that how technology is doing this, right. So, the most important thing is electronic performance monitoring, right. So, what does it include? It includes surveillance, measurement, recording and compilation of work. All this is done electronically. So, there is a less human interference. Okay. So, you are using electronic means to collect data, to measure data, for recording the information related to the performance, and then aggregating the data related to the performance, right. So, if you look at this electronic performance monitoring system, it is going to contribute in your efforts to measure performance, right, depending upon what are your dimensions like productivity, accuracy, speed and errors, because if you are using EPM, then you can measure performance more accurately at a higher speed without any error. So, these are some of the advantages what you call of electronic performance management system. Similarly, it also offers certain benefits like you collect real time information, the measurement is more objective, okay. It is going to continuously observe your performance. So, it provides opportunity for continuous observations. You can get a real time information, it means that you have immediate reporting and assessment of employees whether they are sitting in the office or anywhere else, right. It also helps you to develop performance standards, right, because employees have to contemplate the content and the frequency of assessment measures, how frequently they are going to measure, how frequently they are going to monitor this data, right. So, electronic performance monitoring tools have been very helpful in all these areas, and that is why they have been used for performance management system, right. Then telecommuting, right. With how how performance management is done, especially in case of those employees who are not working in the organization, but they are sitting at a, you can say, at a different place, because now most of the organizations are working at different places, different sites, right. So, those who are telecommuting, okay, those who are only connected through networks and these kind of things, right. So, it is how we are going to design and use an performance management system which is fully automated, right, because they are working in virtual, distributed or global environments, because they are sitting at different places, right, and it is very difficult to monitor their performance physically. So, you are using these kind of systems to see that how you can develop a system which is ICT enabled to see that their performance is measured, right. So, in both the cases where it is electronic performance management or electronic performance monitoring or communicating, you are going to make use of performance management data. So, now we have understood that yes, technology is going to facilitate the accomplishment of several performance management systems and goals, right. And it also offers certain benefits in terms of centralization of the data, integration of the data, and the data is going to be more accurate, objective and error free, right. So, and once you have this data archived in your system, then you can anytime you can make use of this data for making any kind of decisions. So, the input and retrieval becomes much more easy, because you have developed a system where you have stored the data. Now, some of the issues that we are going to discuss now is related to the complications that is created by the technology. Sometimes what happens, you are overloaded, flooded with lot of informations, right, and this could be detrimental in fulfilling your responsibilities. You experience lot of stress, okay. You need to work overtime, even sometimes you take work at your home, because you are getting data through networks and these kind of things, without realizing that the workload that you are going to have is going to be too much, creating lot of stress, right. So, how to avoid this kind of problem? Those recommendations are like creating a display of how the system components are organized, when the user is currently located, right. You can go for branching logic, that is you are going to organize data around performance competencies and see which one is relevant for the individual, and only that kind of data is communicated, right. You can also use search functions based on keywords, okay, so that people look forward to only those kind of information which is required, right. You can incorporate personal clippings, especially when you are, which is frequently used by the individual for information related to the performance, and you also provide tools for managers to organize, summarize and analyze performance data, right. So, that they can help so that it helps them to see that what kind of information is being derived from this data, which could be used for decision making purposes. So, in addition to information overload, there could be overexposure also, and when we are talking about overexposure means that when you are running the risk of diluting the importance and value of the information, and this happens because of information overload. Sometimes what happens, we are getting lot of mail, some of them may be important, but we overlook it because we are doing something that is not very important, though it could be urgent, okay. So, we basically confront ourselves in this dilemma of what we call important versus urgent. So, sometimes we do not take up those matters which are important, which have more value compared to that which we take up those activities which are less important, but more urgent, right. So, the recommendations are that you need to develop a system, especially in EPM system, okay, which comes from the employees. So, they know that what needs to be done, and similarly it is important to see that you are going to filter the data which is to be given to the employees, not necessarily that all the data has to be given to everybody, right. So, you need to see that how you are going to, how the system interacts with the employees, what kind of request for the data is required, and only that kind of data is given to them, right. So, that relevant data goes to the individuals, and they are not going to be overexposed to all kind of data because of information overload. Time is another important factor, because you have minimum time and you have to do lot of things, okay. So, you have to see that when you are going to have a system and you are going to use this, make sure that the interaction with the system is good, okay. System is not slow, because if the system is slow, it is not working, then it leads to decreased productivity and you have negative reactions of that. So, you see that how you can ensure that there is a less intervention, especially related to the user interface. So, that needs to be adequate, right. Make sure that enough time is available and people know and feel comfortable while dealing with these kind of problems. Okay. And make sure that if additional time is required to fulfill the information or the data, then it is available. Okay. Sometimes we will do not have enough time to complete all the jobs. So, additional time is given. Sometimes you know that there are deadlines for the projects to be completed, there are timelines that is to be adhered to, okay. But the system is not working, or there are other problems related to user interfaces, because of which you are not able to complete the job in time. So, make sure that these things are taken care. Then over reliance on automation. What does it mean? Sometimes what happens, we say that okay, now we have developed the PMS and it will take care of the performance. So, the idea is that do not assume that technology will now do the work of performance management. You are going to do the performance, technology is going to assist you, right. So, employees should be accountable for performance management, system is not going to be accountable. You are going to use the system to measure, to monitor, to retrieve, to archive data related to performance management, right. That is more important. Then miscommunication, 2 points are very important with respect to communication challenges when it comes to use of technology. Sharing any type of information via tools like email and messaging without considering the content by the sender can enhance the opportunity for misinterpretation. So, make sure that when you are going to share any information through these electronic mediums, make sure that the content that the receiver is going to receive is interpreted properly. So, there is no miscommunication that happens. Okay. And similarly, it has to be interactive. So, you need to develop capabilities. So, system has to be more interactive in nature, so that you give your concern, you can express your concern in a voice, okay, and make sure that the integrity of the system is maintained, right. And that is how it is very, very important, and these are some of the problems that I have discussed, especially related to technology when you are going to use for performance management. Then literacy, right. Literacy means that the person who are going to use a automated performance management system in an organization, they must know how to make use of the system. They must be computer literate, that is more important. They must know that how to make use of technology for doing different kind of activities, whether it is related to surveillance, whether it is related to measurement, whether it is related to monitoring, whether it is related to giving feedback, right. So, you should give an opportunity to the employees to interact with the system on a regular basis, right, which will increase their literacy related to the technology, right. And you also provide them training and opportunity, so that they can understand it very well, that how the system works, and if they understand how the system works, they know how to make use of it, probably you derive greater benefit from the technology. Now, these are some of the best practices, recommendations for using technology for performance management, right. So, make sure that the access to information is available, especially to the performance management system, right. And then whatever information is required by a group of stakeholders, it is disseminated or distributed to them, and you make sure that whatever information is available, it is updated on a regular basis, right. And then aggregate performance management data, integrate the data with other HR applications. For example, you might be using performance management data for training, for career planning, for succession planning also, right. So, make sure that performance management data is integrated with other HR applications, so that you can make use of performance related data for other activities in the organization, maybe career planning, maybe succession planning, even for rewarding employees, right, okay, or even taking certain administrative decisions, suppose the performance is not good. Then you need to facilitate the continuous process of performance management. Okay. It means make sure that the performance management data is continuously updated, accessed, updated and revised. It means that you have revised, updated data related to performance management, and then you document all the performance related conversations and actions, right. So, to automate requests for performance feedback on a project basis. So, if somebody wants this information, okay, so it should be provided and when as and when it is required, right. Then support the summary analysis and interpretation of the performance data. Make sure that whatever performance data is, it is able to communicate what is your performance level, whether you have been able to achieve the performance standards or not, and what needs to be done, right. Offers access to positions competencies and provide greater career pathing tools. It means that it is able to identify what are the competencies related to the job, whether the people have those competencies or not, okay, and based upon their performance, what are the career advancement opportunities that is available to the individuals. So, if you have these kind of automated tools, they are going to indicate or they are going to take certain decisions related to this, whether your competencies are mapping, whether you could be promoted to the next higher level or not, right. So, these are some of the best practices that has been recommended for the use of technology. Thank you very much.